The pivoting aspect is very important in my experience, Nick, because we do have, well, first, the majority of people is just simply not stubborn enough to be an entrepreneur, right? So they would be much more pragmatic. And if you don't have that stubbornness, you cannot stick it out, right? But from those that are stubborn, the large majority are then too stubborn about their initial vision and they don't want to move away from that. And that is also wrong because the typical founder who is successful has a rare combination, really rare combination between being super stubborn about their vision, but super pragmatic about how it gets implemented, right? And that combination is so rare. And I think that explains why so many VCs only fund 1 out of 1,000 of pitches that come to them, because that's what they're looking for. That's the little nugget of gold in the mine, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, there's all kinds of things involved. There is ego, right?
We don't have any ego in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, well, ego is the biggest. So there's a saying, pride and arrogance are the devil's two animals. If you do not take control of them, they will take control of you.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. So I have a feeling also on your show, you're going to have different people with different expertise that also advise startups, right? Who are making that transition. So tell us a little bit about those types of guests. What is your vision? What kind of guests you plan to have?
Yeah, so those could be people that offer advice in particular phases or particular functional areas in particular of a startup, right? So one day we will have like a marketing specialist who can talk through the customer adoption life cycle and how that changes in the course of a startup, all the way from innovators and early adopters to how do you actually then start breaching the mass market, right? There may be a finance specialist who comes in the changes of fundraising that happen over time. In the beginning, relatively small rounds where you do not give up majority control. Then you move to VCs, where the VCs actually start taking more control of your company with really aggressive growth targets. And then for those companies that ultimately reach a plateau, which ultimately every company does, you either may have exited already, good for you, or you may need to move into more private placements, private equity, where basically the company is then going through more efficiency organizations, right? Often roll-up games as well. So we would have finance people coming in. We could have technology specialists that talk about, well, do you need to do a replatforming over time when all your spaghetti code has become unmanageable and you need to basically reinvent the platform? Or is that the worst mistake you could possibly make in the life of a startup, right? The other functions that could come up are from a legal perspective, from an HR hiring perspective, but also about, how do you develop people? How do you make sure that everyone is an A player in the company? We have specialists in the sales field, of course, gigantic, right? To have sales specialists come in. And then, of course, product management people as well that can come in and say, like, how do you manage all of this? How do you say no to 95% of the requests in your company in order to identify those few nuggets that actually drive the company forward? And so those people are often ex-executives that have been at large startups before or smaller startups before, sometimes do some fractional work